Software developers have many different roles and titles. As a new developer, it can be confusing as to which kind of roles you might qualify for, and also what kind of career map you can expect to see and follow. In this series, we're going to discuss the different career paths available to developers, what kind of career changes you can expect, and what all of these different job titles actually mean. The reality of software development is there are many different areas that you can specialize in. Front end, back end, security, DevOps, etc. Despite the many different specialties within software development, each of these specialties has roughly the same core roles and progression, the most common of which being intern, junior developer, software developer, and senior software developer. We will cover the different titles that correspond with these core roles and what kind of responsibilities you can expect to have. It should be mentioned that you don't need to step through all of these roles in your career, but these roles represent the various stages of responsibility that you can expect to have throughout your career. For those interested in furthering your career past the responsibilities of senior software developer, be sure to check out the other videos in this series, the individual contributor career path and the people management career path. Both of these paths stem from these core roles and are fairly uniform regardless of your specialty as a developer. One important note in regards to the different titles you will hear, that in the tech industry, the terms programmer, developer, and engineer are used fairly interchangeably. Some will contest that there are clear differences between titles with these distinctions, but generally speaking, these three titles mean roughly the same thing. For many developers just starting out, one of the first roles that they may have is that of an intern. Software development interns are typically given a 3 to 6 month window where they'll work on a small to mid-sized project with other developers that gets them exposure and experience in the languages and frameworks that a company uses. Often these internships occur over the summer months, May through August, as companies are wrapping up spring recruitment season. Many companies use these internships for finding developers that are a good fit with their company. Many interns are also given the same title as an entry-level developer, such as junior developer or associate developer. Junior software developer is a title that's typically used for developers that are just starting out and require additional time and resources to get up to the same quality and quantity of code output as regular developers. The term junior developer is used quite frequently in companies to define their entry-level developer positions. The titles can vary company to company, but typically you'll see junior developer, associate developer, or entry-level Java developer, Node developer, whatever language or framework you're using, developer. Despite the lower expectation of output, there is a high expectation that over the course of a year, you'll have the skills necessary to move into the next role, that of a software developer. With each of these role jumps, you'll notice a drastic increase in responsibilities that are required to be in that position. A software developer is someone with 1 or more years of professional software development experience. Software developers are also able to handle tasks independently of others. Usually, the barrier between junior developer and software developer is that software developers are able to handle most tasks independently. There will be times when advice or pair programming is necessary to speed things along, but typically speaking, software developers can handle their tasks independent of others. Some other common titles that are typically used for this position are software engineer, Java developer, Node developer, React developer, insert the language or framework that you're working in, developer, or simply developer. Some larger companies will assign a numerical value to their engineers to signify how much experience they have within that organization, such as software engineer 1, software engineer 2, software engineer 3, etc. There's some minor debate over the significance of differentiating software engineers and software developers, but most will agree that these mean roughly the same thing. However, most will agree that these titles carry the same weight. Senior software developer is typically the main goal that most developers aim for in their career. Although the titles vary company to company, and this position is introduced at various stages in the software developer's career, developers with this title of senior signify that they are experienced developers, typically with more than 5 years of experience. You'll often see titles described as senior, Java developer, React developer, Vue developer, insert your language or framework developer. Once you've reached the role of senior developer, or maybe even a little bit before, there's 2 different career paths that you can choose to follow if you care to progress your career beyond that role. Both of these career paths you can learn about in the additional videos in this series, the independent contributor career path and the people management career path. If you found this video useful, make sure you click that like button and subscribe to the channel.